This is the Lego Downtown Diner. When this set came out in 2018, it retailed for $250. But since then, it's been retired, and nowadays I've seen it go as high as $400. Or we can just get a fake one on AliExpress for a little over 70 bucks. Okay, so I ordered this on the 12th of September 2022. It's the 14th of October today when this arrived, so a little over a month. So we're gonna unbox it. I'll give you my first impressions and initial review, and then we're gonna discuss a few precautions and things to consider if you do decide to get one of these. For 70 bucks, don't expect any premium packaging. It doesn't come with that mammoth TV sized box like you get on the original. It's all tightly wrapped and sealed to minimize shipping costs and achieve that $70 price tag. I'm gonna try and not slice through anything that's inside. Wow, this is all very condensed. It's quite heavy to be fair, so hopefully that means I didn't get mugged off on anything, and there's no real signs of damage anywhere, which I guess is a good start. First off, we have a manual, which looks just like the original, but the paper does feel really cheap. It doesn't have that glossy texture like the original, and it's very thin. If I spilled any liquid on it, it would melt right through. The building steps are printed smaller so that they can fit more on each page, so less paper and ink is needed, and that also reduces shipping costs because now it makes the package lighter. But overall, not a big deal since these are just minor things and this is still perfectly usable. The base plate, surprisingly, is quite good actually. It definitely looks just like the original and there's no real dead giveaways that this is a knockoff. The texture is identical and I would think that you would be able to tell from the paint that it's fake, but the paint's good. It's all evenly coated with no signs of chipping or discoloration. I can say that the base plate does feel a tad bit flimsy, but so does the original because of how thin it is, and shipping certainly didn't help with that at all. For an average Lego collector, you would not be able to tell that this is fake. Now onto the plastic packaging. Something very common with off-brand brick manufacturers like Slubin is that it all comes in clear plastic packages with no form of organization like the numbering that Lego includes, which indicates when the pieces of each bag will be used at what stage of the building process. Like, for example, bag 1 contains all the pieces for the first few steps, and then bag 2 after that, and so on. But thankfully, this does include it. For a 2500 part set, it would be a nightmare to build if it didn't come with this numbering. It is just a number in small print, but hey, I'll take it, and this still definitely works, as intended. Okay, so let's build the first 20 steps, and I'll give you my first impressions and initial review. As much as I hate to say it, so far, I'm actually really impressed overall. I'm sure most of you, myself included, were expecting this to be absolute garbage. But being 100% honest, here, it is nowhere near as bad as what others make it out to be online. What they have managed to do here is, in order to achieve 30% of the original retail price, they cut back on all of the less important things. Whilst you can't buy it in a physical store for obvious legal reasons, and it takes over a month for it to arrive, the unboxing experience is definitely not the same as Legos, where instead of getting a giant box with all these cool pictures, you get a very obvious cost-cutting package that's sealed as tightly as possible. There's clear signs of cost cutting like in the manual and plastic packaging, but can you see what I mean by the less important things? These actual bricks feel of much higher quality than what I was expecting. Now I've tested off-brand Lego before like Goody and Slubin, and these are all legitimate. They design and market their own sets and they aren't any fake knockoff imitations of Lego like this is, but the quality of the bricks here are superior. Don't get me wrong, it's not as good as Lego, but it isn't far off either. The texture and finish is of higher quality with smooth edges and corners. It has that same glossy paint like the original, which is good with no signs of discoloration at all. They click well and have a firm fit to it. If Lego was a 10 out of 10 for brick quality, this is at least a 9. It comes very close. The minifigs are also not bad either. Here it is a little more obvious that this is a knockoff than the bricks, but if you hold this in your hand, you wouldn't really be able to tell that it's fake. But if you do compare it side by side to a real Lego minifig very closely, a highly experienced Lego collector with a keen eye will be able to tell the difference. But it doesn't feel cheap or low quality in any way. The print is good, the build is decent with free fluid movement in the arms and legs, just like the original, and it all feels firm with a solid click to all the parts. Now keep in mind, I have only owned this set for like 20 minutes now. I wasn't expecting it to be this good, especially for the price, and I might be a little bit biased just because of how much it exceeded my expectations, but I will be doing a full in-depth review of this fake Lego set after I fully build this and own it for a prolonged period of time, as well as review it as the actual Downtown Diner set as well. So just to conclude my first impressions, for a fake Lego knockoff, what they did here is really smart. They cheaped out on all the less important things like the packaging and manual, but the brick quality, which is the most important thing, is really good. The main reason why people buy Lego and not knockoff brands, or let alone knockoffs, is the brick quality. Do you remember those off-brand Chinese supermarket sets where the brick quality is just awful? Here, whilst the unboxing experience is a little compromised, but the actual product itself is good. Now, do I regret buying this? No. The Downtown Diner is a set I had my eye on for a while, but I couldn't get myself to fork out $400 on. This definitely satisfies the want of owning this set for a very reasonable price, and if you find yourself in the same position, this isn't a bad option. Now, at this point, I've probably annoyed a lot of die-hard LEGO fans out there. I've covered a fair bit of the positives, but needless to say, there are a few notable downsides and things to consider before buying the set. First of all, if you do decide to get one of these, be careful where you buy it from. If you're buying on AliExpress from a seller with relatively positive reviews, you should be good since it's a large, more regulated platform with a dispute feature in case anything goes wrong. But there's a few dodgy sites out there selling these fake Lego sets that are slightly cheaper but a whole lot riskier. A good tip is to look if they accept PayPal as a payment option and not just bank payments and transfers, since PayPal will refund you if it is indeed a scam, whereas bank payments don't do that. But I always recommend just sticking to AliExpress, which is by far the safest option. Now, I mentioned that if I were to buy a Lego Downtown Diner off eBay, for example, it would set me back $400, even though the set retailed for $250 back in 2018. This is because Lego appreciates in value. Just like Hot Wheels, it is a collector's item, and the rarer, the more exclusive the set, the higher it will go up in value. And that usually means that for retired sets like this, they will appreciate in value, a 60% return in this case. But if a box is open and the set is built, you won't get that same appreciation, but you should break even at least. This isn't the case for a fake Lego set at all. There's no aftermarket or secondhand demand for this. A, it's fake and it's not a collector's item, so collectors won't want it. But also B, if someone did want it, they can just get it on AliExpress anytime, so it's not exclusive like how Lego retires their sets. So if you do buy it and change your mind and want to sell this later on, well, too bad. If you do try and sell it, especially if it's already open and built, you most likely will make a loss. Finally, I didn't really want to cover this because this is very subjective, but a lot of people do debate about it, and it's the ethical considerations when purchasing a fake set. I'm certainly not in a position to judge anyone based on whether they think or don't think it's ethical to purchase a fake product, and I think the only person in that position is you, so I'll let you make that decision for yourselves. So what's the verdict? And I hate to say it, but it depends. Now obviously this is just my first impressions. I haven't owned this set for more than a couple of hours and I haven't even built it yet, so my full thoughts will be covered in a future separate video. But as for now, this is one of those things that are very situational. I can recommend it because the quality of bricks are of an acceptable standard, and the areas that were cut back on to keep the price of this low aren't really a big deal. But at the end of the day, I can't recommend it because this is a fake knockoff product. So for the hardcore brick collector, this probably isn't for you, but for a more casual collector that's looking for a retired set and can overlook the fact that this is a knockoff, this is a pretty good deal. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know in the comment section below if I miss anything and what specifically you want me to cover in the full review of this. To check out an in-depth comparison between Lego and off-brand Lego, that video is here. I'll see you there. Bye.